Now, this is called a digital oscilloscope. This is not an analog one. We used to have analog ones way back when. Those are those big ones you see underneath there on the bottom, those big blue ones. Those are analog type of oscilloscopes. We've kind of gone into the digital age, as you know, so these are digital signals on here. They do kind of the same thing, but this is a little more advanced, some of the components on it. Okay? If we go through them, you're going to see different controls. Now, everybody knows, based on like the X and Y axis, what's vertical, right? What's horizontal? You know the different parts of a box, right? Right? Can horizontal go this way? Vertical goes this way? Depth goes this way? Okay. Well, this gives you the horizontal and the vertical controls for it. And as we go through this lesson here a little bit, and we get the probes attenuated, and we see how to do the oscilloscope on here, you get more idea. This is very simple to use, even though it looks like it's got a lot of buttons on there. Probably 3/4 of the buttons you won't even use. Okay? You won't have a use for. So, this diagram is the exact ones you have here. And I've set it up so everybody has the exact same oscilloscope. So nobody's working on one differently than the other person's working on it. So when we go through it, the controls are all the same. Okay? Let's go to the first part of the manual. Let's do connecting the probe. Okay? Now, because this is a sensitive probe, oscilloscope probe here, it has to be compensated. Now, think of compensation as making something equal or even. If somebody compensated you for your time, they paid you, you're even with that, okay? Well, in DC, we deal with resistance. All wire has resistance in it, right? Okay. Well, AC, we have the same resistance. It's just called impedance, okay? And what this does, you can buy different size probes for the oscilloscope, and they have different impedances to them. So you have to compensate the probe to match the input of the oscilloscope. Now, no big deal about it. This is something we want to do the first time. And that's the directions there on page 6 we're on here. Okay? Now, when you go into this is the function inspection on the next page. A couple steps you got to do in order. It's very simple if you do this every time. Okay? Now, because we're so new at these, the first thing we hit is default setup. Okay? Default setup. And if you look up here on the board here, when you go up here to default setup over here, it's got under the display, the acquire, the cursors, the save, recall, utility help, run stop, all that on here. You have all of these menus on the top here that you're going to be dealing with on here. We'll go with the default setup. Okay? So, connect the ground alligator clip. That's this ground one right here. On the side here, you got probe compensation. It's got a ground on there. Okay? You simply clip that on there. See how I clipped that on there? The top one is going where you click the probe. Pull the spring back, just connect it on there, hook it on there. Okay? Now you're ready to make sure this works okay. Well, these are regular B and C connectors. You've probably seen them before. Put it in one, turn it to clicks. Okay? Once it clicks, it's going to start giving you a signal out of here. Okay? It's going to give you a signal out here. This blue button called default setup, it will restore the oscilloscope back to its factory settings. It's great for students because if you start pushing too many buttons and you don't know what you're doing and you can't ever find a signal and it's somewhere on there but you can't really read it, you get frustrated with it, don't. Just hit default setup. It'll set everything back like it should be. Okay? So if I hit default setup, it's going to go to the things, it's going to set everything back up like it should be. You'll get a signal just like this. This is a square wave signal on here. Okay? Now you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. And we'll go through different components on here. Now, if you look at that on here, if you can see this on the oscilloscope here, my frame on here, when it goes up, it looks like that. Okay? It doesn't look like a straight line across it. does it? Can you see that? Okay. Well, what that means is I need to compensate my probe somehow to make it work like it should be on here. Okay? And I do that on the side of the oscilloscope probe. There's a small screw that I'll get in here and turn it just a little bit. And when I turn that, I'm going to start adjusting that probe up here. I'm going to make it go down a little bit more. And it goes down, down, and down where it needs to be at. Okay? Now that is a simple way of adjusting the probe on here. Now, there's other ways of doing it on here. There's other components that you might have out there to work on it. But that is the first step we're going to do with this. We're going to adjust our probes to compensate for it. Okay? We're going to make them work like they should be. Now, the easiest way that I found that we do is everybody adjusts them the same way. Everybody adjusts them with the same type of screwdriver, same type of working system on here, same type of everything on here. Now, if you, in this little bag here, we come here, okay, it tells all about the probe and the characteristics of it, how much resistance it's got and all that on it. We're going to go through that step by step, but we're going to adjust the probe first on here. So, I'm going to give you a small screwdriver. The size I need you on here, probably one that size maybe. Really, really small screwdriver that I need. Okay. Let's see if they got one in that other shop here for me in a second. Okay. Finish reading page 7 for me and page 8, if you can. And I'm going to get that going.